Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Wiegmann. And you know what? I have one of my favorite people ever, an announcer for Major League Fishing back in the day.
Way
back in the day was FLW.
Yes.
Chris Jones is here.
Yes,
and,
sir.
Chris, we're going to get right to the heart of the matter because everyone wants to know what is the heaviest tournament weigh-in that you ever announced, like you were the MC for?
Yep. It was 38 pounds.
Wow.
And it was Lake Falcon. It was an FLW Series East versus West Fish-Off, and it was with Greg Hackney.
Wow.
38. Oh, monsters. We had two other stringers over 37.
Right. Wow.
Yes. David Fritz had one, and Terry Bolton had one.
Wow.
Yes.
People want to know, do you ever lose your voice?
All the time.
Like you're screaming all the time?
All the time.
Can you give us one, give us a little version, like Brad wins the Red Crest Championship 2025. Give us that.
Your 2025 Red Crest champion is Brad Wiegmann. Wow!
I like it. And what exactly did Brad win?
$300,000 richer. And Brad,
Wow.
hey, listen, the money spends, but the hardware lasts forever.
That's
the
right.
winner's trophy.
Who says the cream always rises to the top?
I do say that. I say that all
Really?
the time.
I've only
no
been to like
cream always rises to the top.
5 million weigh-ins. I've heard that over and over again. And I'm like, wow, I wish you'd take some crusty old people to the top. Don't they float? I guess old crusty people sink.
Brad, you know you can catch them. You can catch them. You used to catch them good, buddy.
Hey, tell me, what was your favorite tournament that you got to say Brad Wiegmann caught the biggest bass in the tournament? I happen to know which one that is. I don't know what year it is. But I was the Berkeley co-angler. I was the first Berkeley co-angler that was ever on the TV show that they had.
Yep.
And we went down to Florida. I think it was the FLW series that they were having.
BP Eastern Division. Yep.
And I caught one that was 9 pounds something, and I had big bass for the tournament.
Yes.
And so you probably...
I do remember that, but I just didn't remember where that was. I forgot.
It was on Okeechobee.
Okeechobee, yep.
That was
in the opener. It'd been the opener.
Yeah, that was my claim to fame.
Dudley won it, or JT Kinney won it. One of them. Yes.
Pretty cool. So tell us some more. Like, you've got to travel the entire world. Do you get to fish or not? Do you just like? And if you do, like when you go fishing, do you ever announce your own fish? Like, Chris Jones reeling it in.
Believe
like
this or
that?
not,
Seriously, dude.
Well, first off, I usually don't fish too much. I do some when I'm on the road, but most of the time, when I was a tournament director, I never would. Now our staff would, but I wanted to just stay laser focused on the business.
Right.
And so that was a mistake. If I could go back, I should have found some balance in that. But as I've gotten older and I just do the television stuff now, yes, I do. I do fish some. And yes, anytime I'm fishing with anybody, they make me do that stuff.
Dude, you have to go fishing with me. I just love it. I'll be out there catching small fish, and Chris would be like, that's a giant.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I love it, man.
We will definitely do that. I would love to
you can
fish
pat
with
me
you,
on
Brad.
The back.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. See, look at that, dude.
That's my guy. We go way back, Brad. Way back. Yeah.
I have more questions. Can I keep firing them out to you?
Let's go.
He's so busy. We're right here at Red Crest, Major League Fishing, Red Crest 2025. And he's out there doing interviews with all kinds of people. He's getting ready to interview Jimmy Houston, who is
Mirrors are starting to bleed a little bit there.
Yeah, the line to see him is insane. It runs from the booth that he's in, I think it's Ranger Boats, runs all the way out almost to the door
of the show.
And the show's been open how long?
Yeah,
5 hours?
Yes.
3 hours, 4 hours. So whatever it is, it's insane.
Yeah.
That is the thing.
Yeah, he's already missed his other 2 times.
So you've gotten
because he couldn't get away from the crowd.
You've gotten to also interview people, right?
Yep.
On stage. So who's your best interview and who's the worst interview?
Oh wow, that's a good one.
And I'm while you're thinking, I'm kind of thinking that, and I don't want to be a name dropper, but I think Greg Hackney, when he first got involved, was more in the mode of, hey, if I catch fish and I make money, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the advertising,
No,
like
in the
into
beginning.
that,
Right. That's 100%
So he
true.
would have been a tough, like a
Yes.
tough person on stage because he ain't
Yes.
giving anything away.
Yes.
Who's the
No.
worst person for not giving information away?
Clark
And you
Windlet.
try and
Clark Windlet
pick
was,
it out of him.
Clark Windlet would not tell you anything.
He used to
He
come.
didn't even like the camera in his boat, like
Yeah.
on television days, live stream days. He hated that.
And so when he fished the FLW on Beaver Lake,
Yes.
if I was home, I could walk out and watch him fish our point right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He probably
And
didn't
so-
like the fact that you were watching him.
No, he probably didn't. Not with the camera.
Great guy. Great
Yeah.
guy. But, yeah.
So
did not
he's the
want you
toughest, huh?
to get
Who's the
information.
best? Who is actually the best? Is it Terry Scroggins or Wesley Strader? He's got to be funny.
Strader's
dude.
pretty good.
Is there someone better than him though?
I'll
There's
tell you.
gotta
Let me
be.
tell you this one quick story about
All right.
Andy Morgan.
Okay.
Andy Morgan tells a very first year, I think it's 2002. It's an EverStart Series event. And we're down, which is 12 to series now.
Right.
And we're down at Guntersville, actually.
Right.
He wins the event. He's I always tell him to bring up their winning baits.
Right.
All right. So, anyways, long story short, he wins the event, and he's got brings up a big Zumo monster worm and a jig, and he's talking about exactly what he did, how he threw
Right.
it, and everything. And he's like talking about how he's catching them on the ledges and what have you, and goes through this big spiel, and so he wins. Well, afterwards, when we're paying the checks and we're off the air, and we're behind the stage, I hear him telling one of the other guys, who's a staff member. It was Gary Pex who it was. He was like, yeah, he's like, man, I caught a few fish cranking. He's like, they were key. He's like, I don't like doing that a lot, but he's like, I was catching everything on this brush hog flipping.
Right.
Where everybody else was on the ledges, he's like, I was up shallow flipping.
Yeah, like just
And I'm
on
like,
stage.
Like, you just lied to everybody. He's like, yeah, it's all right. He's like, he just laughed about it. He thought it was the funniest thing ever. He thought it was the funniest thing ever. The one that probably loves to give information more than anybody.
Yeah.
Do you remember Vic Vadalero?
Yes.
Love
From
Vic.
up north. Yeah.
Yes.
He has his own boat shop.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yep.
Vic.
Vic Sports Center.
Yeah.
So Vic,
Look at we're giving a shout out to Vic, and he still owns the place, I believe. So we're actually
shout out to you, Vic. Vic was always very professional,
Right.
very soft spoken, and he'd always tell you. I remember he told me this one time on the stage. He's like,
Right.
I was like, no, you telling us the truth, because he's always so giving with information. He's like,
Right.
yeah. He's like, I always do, because everybody will assume you're lying anyways.
Right. That's right. That's the truth.
He's like, so I always just tell the truth anyways, and people just make their assumptions.
Worst conditions that you ever had to do a weigh-in where it was like crazy.
Yeah.
We were at Kentucky Lake when a tornado came through.
I remember that one.
Right, literally right
I'll
at
never forget
weigh-in
it.
time, and we were
Yes.
coming, and the guy I was with, we were coming across the side of the lake in a
Yes.
Ranger boat, and the boat went like this, but unfortunately went like this on my side.
I'll never forget that.
And I
one.
could see the water, and I was like,
The amount of calls I was getting at that time.
yeah, we
Yeah.
made it back on time.
Yes. Yeah.
Barely. And
I
I
remember that
I
one.
was puckered up a lot during that,
know you
and it
were.
wasn't my lips.
I know it wasn't. I know it was
Which is-
puckered. I remember that storm. It was a tornado. It touched down, went over the lake.
Yeah.
Worst conditions probably Columbus Pool in Mississippi. And yes, it was a March event, and it was freezing, and guys could not open up their live wells because they were all froze shut. We were having to literally they were pouring coffee, and we were pouring water over them.
Wow.
Yeah, that one was a bad one. I remember Jim Tutt. We never could get his open. I mean, we finally did, but I had to pry it open. It was crazy. Worst conditions though for a weigh-in, Clear Lake, California, and it was just a blizzard.
Really?
It was windy, cold. There was so much snow coming down that you couldn't see 30 foot out in front of you, and the anglers they would keep coming up. And we had a 200 boat field, and what was crazy about that, Brad, is they smashed them.
Oh.
We had 30-pound bags, a bunch of upper 20s. They loved it. It was miserable, a miserable experience, but they loved the fishing part because the fish bit.
Okay.
That was pretty rough.
Have you done a weigh-in that wasn't on a stage because of something happened in the trailer? You couldn't use the trailer, and you literally went and had this huge,
Yes.
big event, and
Yes.
you're like, okay.
Red River.
Like
You may
right
have been
here.
in it. It was one of those
Probably.
early events.
Yeah,
Red
you're
River,
like-
Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Yep.
It's terrible. I don't know if you remember any of those events.
I think there was an Everstart Championship, wasn't it? We fished the Everstart Championship down there.
That was 02. That was 2001 or 2. The one I'm thinking about was it was a summertime event, and we were they had the city had promised they would have the facility built, but they hadn't yet. So we ended up we were launched in this guy's field.
Oh, you know what? I do remember that.
Do you remember that?
And fishing in the
and
jungle.
All the snakes going back there that were on the road. It was like July or something. I'm like, who put is because I didn't do the scheduling on that one. It was Stakely. Remember Jerry? Stakely?
Yeah.
He had put the schedule together, and I'm like, Jerry, we're going to Natchitoches, Louisiana in July, and we're launching. And it wasn't his fault because the city had promised that facility to be done, but it wasn't. Right. So we're launching in somebody's backyard, and there was 2 mud ramps. Dirt ramps, what they were. And we promised everybody, I remember, because we were supposed to have some rain, and we didn't get it like they thought we were going to. But I promised everybody, you might remember this, at the pre-tournament meeting, like if anybody gets stuck, we're going to pay the tow service. We'll get you out. We'll pay the tow bill.
Yep.
We'll have tow trucks come in, and we'll get everybody out. Mud washes off. We'll be fine. So we escaped that one. Oh, my gosh. I will never forget that one. I remember we were doing boat check out in that little creek that's off the Red River where we were at.
Yep.
And every time 2 or 3 boats would come by, then you see a snake come by.
Do you have a Brad Knight story? The FLW Cup champion. At that point, he was a Strike King guy. And, from Wartburg, Tennessee.
Loved him.
Just kind of a tall, lanky guy. And him and Kobe Krieger were the masters of the Pop R.
Yes.
Remember that?
Oh, I remember.
Did you ever get to fish with them?
I never did. Did you?
Yes. I got to fish with both in the same day. It was phenomenal.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got lucky.
They would say that Kobe used the pistol grip rod.
Yep.
So he could, him and Craig Powers.
Yeah, Craig Powers. That's right.
That's it. And they would do that little rollover with their wrist cast.
Like a spinner bait in brush, and you'd be like, dude.
And wouldn't get hung up.
Yeah.
And would catch fish out of it.
Yeah.
I heard.
I
never did see it, but I heard all the time. That's amazing. Nobody does that.
That takes us to Tackle Time. Tackle Time is sponsored by PICO Lures. PICO Lures has a complete line of hard and soft baits. If you're trying to catch a big old bass or if you're trying to catch a big old crappie, you can check them out at PICOLures.com. If you want to add one more thing that you want to give a shout out to or talk about, what would it be?
You were asking me about probably the best or closest weigh-in ever.
Right? Yeah.
I think it would be the 2015 Forcewood Cup, Lake Murray, Columbia, South Carolina, when like 7 ounces separated the top 5 guys.
The top 5 guys.
Yes.
Wow.
Anthony Gagliar already won it. Casey Ashley was part of that. Scott Canterbury was he lost a big one under a dock that cost him that event. But yeah, Steve Kennedy had caught like the biggest bag of the day. He was in 10th place though, so he had a long way to go, but he had caught like 21 pounds. It was like 7 or 8 ounces separated those top 5 guys. That was it.
All right.
No, and that was for the cup, for the title.
Wow. So normally I sign out and I say, make sure you keep your hook sharp and your lures in the water, but because we have Chris here. Chris is going to sign us off, and it's the Fishing Guide Podcast. So sign us off from the Fishing Guide Podcast.
From the Fishing Guide Podcast, let's see your 2 best bass.